Fantastic. Well, it looks like everyone is all. I think there's only one or two people who aren't, but I think we're good now. So I'm so glad you guys are here. And right now I've got it on gallery view because I want to see everybody who's here. I will tell you as a trainer, especially a trainer on Zoom, one of the easiest ways to make this a fun training for you guys is to make sure that you guys are here, that I can see you because I give back the energy that I get from you because I keep the gallery view here so I can see people. So that way, if you're waving your hand wildly saying, I have a question, then I can see you and I can call your name and ask you to unmute and ask your question. If you are more Zoom savvy and you know how to raise your digital hand by clicking on the react button and then raising your digital hand, that is another quick way to, there you go, Georgie. Exactly. Just like that. So that way I can see who has a question. And I do have a multi-screen setup here. So if you do type it into the chat, I will also happily take a look at the chat from time to time and see if there are questions. Um, I hope those of you who are feeling less than savvy on social media brought a notebook and something to write with because we're going to be covering some information. Good. I'm seeing some pens and notebooks being held up. You are also welcome to take screenshots of things that I put on the screen. I'm totally fine with that. That is totally fine with me. So I am here to serve you, to help you get a better understanding. So we're going to be covering some social media basic information to help you be able to really grow your social media following. And so here I'm going to ask a question, and I want you to type your answer in the chat. Why do you want to learn more about social media? Why are you here today? So I want you to put that in the chat. And if a couple of you are brave and would like to raise your hand and say it out loud for me, I'd love it if you raise your hand. I want to hear from a couple of people. Why are you here? Why did you want to learn about social media? Let's see, to promote my business, to grow my network, to have a bigger impact. Social media is fun. I agree. I have a great time on social media. To get my brand out there, multiply my organization by 5. Love that. Yes, grow my business, grow my network, grow my LifeWave business. I'm curious if it's really necessary. Ooh, I love that. Is social media really necessary? Is it necessary?
And to get over my fear of exposure, is it necessary? You're gonna lay out some thoughts there.
I am. Well, I can what I will say is there are very few things in business that are absolutely necessary. Social media, you can get away without having social media. Will you be as successful as quickly as somebody who has some sort of a social media presence? Maybe, maybe not. It depends on how you're working your business, right? So, and yes, Georgie also says, yes, social media is free. Exactly. Social media is a free way to get the word out and really get exposed to more people to have that, just like Beryl just said, have a bigger outreach and be able to extend your network. Because the wonderful thing about your business here in LifeWave is you literally can do business almost anywhere in the world.
So Francois says to get over her fear of exposure. Neil says it's scary. And Kurt says, I have a good following, LifeWave, amazing products. I want to have it in people's hands. Um,
Yes.
so that's also, yeah, Neil said again, it's scary. Reach coal market, connect with more people. Okay. So for me, it's like always been like this. I've seen, if I go onto my Facebook, for example, I started in Facebook in 2006, 2007. and I stopped really posting anything or even going there around 2:15, 2:16. And if I go there now, the same people are saying the same things as they said 20 years ago. So I also don't want to, so I'll say this at the beginning, I don't want to kind of do the same with social media. I want to contribute something that's useful. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And I will say, people are people are people, right? So, you may see that things that people are posting the same thing because if they're not doing anything new in their life, if they're not doing anything different, they may not be posting anything new on social media because if they haven't changed, then that isn't going to change. And what I will tell you about Facebook especially, um, what I'm about to say is true of Facebook and LinkedIn and TikTok. You train your algorithm what to show you based on how much time you spend reading a post. You train your algorithm what to show you based on how you interact with other posts. So if you are commenting on certain posts, then Facebook, for example, is going to say, oh, that's a post that they probably want to spend more time with. Right. So they're going to show you more posts from that person or more posts that are like that. So if you were to go look on my Facebook feed right now, if I were to show you my Facebook feed, it's a lot of networking posts, business posts, nerdy posts because I like nerdy things like Star Trek, Star Wars, Battlestar Galactica, all of those nerdy things, right? That's the kind of thing that I like, and I interact with that kind of content. Doctor Who, for those of you in the BBC who watch BBC a lot, I'm a Doctor Who fan as well, so I get Doctor Who content on my Facebook feed.
I am a Dalek. Um,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
used to love that as a kid. Jenny, before you go further, tell
Sure.
everybody a little bit your story of how come you're here doing what you're doing, because that
Absolutely.
gives some context as well.
Great place to start. So my name is Jennie Bellinger, and I started in direct sales and network marketing myself back in 2010. At the time, I was trying to get back into education. I used to be a teacher, which hopefully at the end of this, you guys will see. Oh yeah, she definitely used to be a teacher. But I could not get a teaching job back in 2010. We were in the middle of a recession here in the United States, and I'm sure other places were experiencing that as well. And it was really hard to find a job. So, my sister in law introduced me to a direct sales company, a jewelry company, and I decided to go for it. I was like, well, if I was willing to give 40 hours a week to a school and other people's children, what if I gave 20 hours a week and got to spend time with mine? And so that's how I got started in direct sales. Within just a couple of years, my team uh, reached number one in the world for group recruiting and number three in the world for group sales. So that is the thing that I am most proud of for my team is because I couldn't do that alone. You guys probably figure out you don't get to number one in the world all by yourself. So it is always a team effort for that. And so we did that. But then, of course, in my own personal business, I earned the incentive trips. I ranked up the company ladder to the point where I was making 50% commission on everything that I sold. So it was wonderful. Plus all of the team bonuses that I got for what my team was doing because I was working personally with my team to train them, grow them, and lead them as well. So that's kind of my history. I went full time coaching in 2017 because I had so many people from other companies asking me, how did you get to number one? How can I do that? And so I started working with leaders from other companies and got certified as a professional coach in 2017. I also have a podcast. My podcast is what's here on my screen, Badass Direct Sales Mastery. If you're having trouble reading it because it's on an itty bitty little screen there. I'll spotlight myself there so you guys can see. This is the name of my podcast. And George, I don't even know if you've heard this news, but yesterday I just found out that my podcast is ranked as #1 direct sales podcast according to FeedSpot.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So
And I really need to get on with you.
well, we can make that happen. That is definitely possible. So I'm going to, let's see, take my spotlight off now since you guys have seen the name of my podcast, Badass Direct Sales Mastery. And if you don't know how to get to a podcast and you're interested in learning more, I'm putting the link to my podcast in the chat right now. You can use that from your iPhone, from your computer, anywhere to go listen to the podcast. I have over 300 episodes talking about a variety of topics regarding direct sales businesses, network marketing businesses. So it's a really fantastic way to learn about a bunch of different things. And I have a few episodes that are especially focused on social media. So if you want to continue learning about this from other people, we do have some episodes that are specifically focused on social media. So that's me, who I am, what I do for the most part. And what I want to do is get into the social media training for this. Are you guys ready?
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. I did create a PowerPoint just for you guys. So, and I do that more to keep me on on track because I know we have a limited amount of time here. So, thank you, Rachel. Yes. Bring it on. Let's do this. I love it. All right. So, here is that is my start. So we want to start by growing our social media following. So I'm going to walk you guys through step by step how to do this. And really, because just like many of you said in the chat, when you grow your social media following, you are able to start more conversations. You are able to grow a network. You have more people seeing what you're doing with LifeWave for your business for sure. All right. So here we go. So the first thing you need to do is you need to understand the audience that you're talking to, because when you post on Facebook, you're not posting to everybody. If you try to post to everybody, guess what?
You get nobody.
You get nobody, right? And I also want to discuss with you guys today the different platforms that you have available to you. So we'll talk about those as well. So, but let's start with the target audience though. So what you want to do is, because again, we just said, when you try to talk to everybody, you talk to nobody. Nobody feels called out. Whereas if I am more specific in my training and I say things like, hey, Kim, I'm so glad you're here, then Kim feels called out. Her brain perked up. I saw her stop and she was like, oh, she called me, right? It's going to be true very much for Morgan and Francoise and Graham and Neil. Like, notice how those people all perked up, right? Oh, she's talking to me, right? The same thing happens on social media. When you know who your target audience is, who you're talking to, that makes your content much more relevant and people are much more likely to follow you. So it also helps if you make your, especially on Facebook, make your content public. So I will tell you, if you go find Jennie Bellinger, if you go find me on Facebook, the only thing that I do not make public are pictures of my children. Everything else regarding me, regarding my business, is a public post. Because if somebody wants to research me and find me, I want them to be able to see who I am. I talk about my children, but I don't put pictures of them out to the public. I only share those with my friends, not my followers, right? So you absolutely, that's the great thing about social media is you can control who sees what. So there's that. So let's get to the target audience. The first thing you want to start with are the key demographics. So again, you're not trying to post to everybody. So who is your absolute. And what I want you to do is I'm going to ask a question. Assuming you've been in business for a while, who is your best customer? Who is your best customer? Okay. For those of you who've been in business for a while, somebody just came to mind. I don't know who that person is.
And in the context of a network, you might ask who is the most powerful person in your downline.
Yes. Right. But I would start if we're looking at a target audience for clients, right? For
Mm.
customers, who's your favorite customer, right? Who is your best customer? Because when you know things about that best customer, you can create content that speaks to that best customer. You may also have a slightly different demographic or slightly different target audience if you're talking to ideal potential team members, right? So if you've already started building a team, who is your best team member? Wouldn't you like to duplicate that person? Now, I'm going to give you guys a hint. There's a really good chance that your best team member is very similar to you. There's a really good chance that your best customer is very similar to you. Why? Because we tend to attract people who are like us, right? So if you are new to LifeWave and you're like, well, I don't have a best customer yet, I don't know, then you're going to use yourself as your ideal target audience member. So you're going to look at your target demographics. So this would be age. So give an age range. So this could be 35 to 50, 40 to 60, right? What's the age range you're looking to work with? Oh, I forgot to put in there gender, men or women. Do you tend to work more with men or women? What is the marital status of the person that you is your best client? Are they married? Are they not married? Do they have kids or are they child free by choice? Do they have fur babies? Are they pet parents? Right? You know those people who have their very favorite cat or dog. What is their job type? All of these demographics are the things that you can easily learn about somebody without having to necessarily, for some people, you might have to have a conversation if you don't know them very well, but you can get it, you can get a basic idea. So if you know that, let's say, for example, you're a lawyer, you're probably hanging out with a lot of lawyers. Probably a good demographic to work with would be other attorneys, right? And then you also know, based on somebody's job or career type, what their financial status might be. You can guesstimate. The second part of identifying your target audience is thinking the way your best customer thinks or your best team member thinks. So what are their thought patterns? What are their biases? What are the core values that they live by? Like if you got to pick your ideal team member, what would their core values be? And then the third step in all of this is to name this client or name your team member, name the persona, right? My When I'm creating content for my persona, and her name is Evelyn. And so if you go to my Facebook page and you look at, or my LinkedIn page, and you look at what I'm posting out there, I'm posting most of that with Evelyn in mind because Evelyn is my ideal client. And so when I have people who are interacting with that, I know that they think a lot like Evelyn does, that they have a lot of things in common with Evelyn, right? So when you're creating your social media content moving forward, think to yourself, so once you name your ideal client or your ideal team member, so if you're going to be creating posts to grow your team, who are you going to be posting for? Right? Would that post speak to Evelyn? Right? Now, if you already have a name in the chat for your person, then I would love to hear some names in here. So if you already kind of have an idea that your ideal client is Buffy, right? Or if you happen to know, all right, there we go. Maggie, love it. So people are already doing that. Jenny, love it. People already know. Graham, misspend a lot. I love it. Right? Joy and Bridget. This is fantastic, right? Cindy. Yes, exactly. So you want to be um creating your content moving forward for this person. Now that we know who your person is, now we're going to be looking at the different types of platforms, right? So you want to be looking at the type of platform. So based on who you just created, this ideal either customer or team member, or the nice thing about network marketing is it's that ideal team member is probably very similar to your best customer. There's probably not many things that are different between the two of them. But it also means that you're going to be selecting your platform, the social media platform that you're going to go spend time on, because time is a very valuable resource. You don't get time back, right? So you want to pick the platform based on where that person is spending time. So looking at your different platform types is really important to know whether you're looking at Facebook. And I'm going to stop sharing now. I'm doing this on purpose. I don't want anybody to freak out. You want to pick your platform based on your person. So I'm going to give you guys some statistics about social media platforms so that you can make a good decision about who you're going to spend time, where you're going to spend your time. Because I am not somebody who believes you should be on all the platforms. What you should do is, if you are not savvy with social media right now, pick one platform and go play on that platform. And we're gonna have an invitation for you to do a certain kind of play at the end of this. So I'm just gonna let you guys know. So Facebook tends to have a slightly older demographic. Generally, 35 and older is on Facebook. Instagram tends to be a slightly younger demographic. So generally, people who are in their 20s and 30s are on Instagram, and the same is true for TikTok. Now, TikTok's age is trending a little bit older as well. Now they are getting more people, so it's not just kids anymore. There are people who are a variety of ages. I've seen people as old as 80 something regularly posting on TikTok. Because, yes, I do have a TikTok account. I have a fun account, my personal account, and I have a business account on TikTok because I've been playing on Facebook since 2008. And I do call it playing because it really is. If Facebook disappeared, it's not the end of my business. If TikTok disappears, it's not the end of my business. So for me, social media is play, and anything I get from there is gravy for my business, right? LinkedIn tends to also have a slightly older demographic, and LinkedIn also, the average LinkedIn user makes 3 times more money than a Facebook user. So I'm speaking to you. I think it was Graham who was misspent. Yes, Graham was misspend a lot. If you want misspend a lot, you're going to find her on LinkedIn. LinkedIn, heavy LinkedIn users make more money than Facebook users. Just so you know. So if that's an important piece of the demographic pie for your customer or team member, then you want to be spending your time on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn has recently been adding a lot of really wonderful features there as well. So, questions about any of the platforms so far, or your ideal customer avatar or team avatar?
So you can raise your hand like that, or you can press the thing under reactions. I love
Yep.
questions.
Beryl, yes, please go ahead and unmute.
I hang on. I'm going to make you unmute. Just a
Oh,
minute. I
there
have
we
to
go. I
do.
clicked her. There we
Okay,
go. She's good.
Yeah,
brilliant.
can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Just wanted to find out if you've got, I use Instagram
Mhm.
and I've linked so that my posts share to Facebook. Is that a good thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
if you're the good thing about Meta,
Yeah.
Meta is the company that owns Facebook and Instagram and also WhatsApp. If you have your Instagram and Facebook accounts linked, like Beryl just talked about, when you post on one of them, it will show up on the other. Now, just so you know, Instagram um, has um, has much stricter standards or structure for posting. So if you post on Facebook, if you post a particular kind of video or whatever, it won't go over
Mm.
to Instagram. So if I want it to cross post, I always make sure that there's Instagram has to have an image connected because Instagram is much more of a visual platform. So there has to be at least a picture or a video. They can take videos, but they're limited in length. I believe 3 minutes, up to 3 minutes for an Instagram video. It might have recently gone up to 5. I don't remember.
Mm.
But Instagram has to have those things. On Facebook, you can post just text, but those are not as popular and they are not viewed as well as posts that have an image. And the most viewed posts on Facebook and Instagram are videos, thanks
Yeah.
to the new Reels feature. So that is good. So, yes, Beryl, it's fantastic. If you're creating content and you know who you're creating content for and you can cross post at the same time, absolutely do that. I wish I had time to show you guys how to do that today. If you don't know how to link your Instagram and Facebook account, there's this wonderful thing called Google that will give you step-by-step instructions of how to link your Instagram to your Facebook. So, or vice versa. So, as long as you already have an account connected on both, or as long as you already have an account on both of those platforms, you can connect them. I recommend using Google to get step-by-step instructions. So, thank you, Beryl.
Thank you.
Fiona, let's get you unmuted. Go ahead.
Hi, Jenny. So I recently switched to a professional dashboard on Facebook. I'm not sure why, but I wanted to ask if there's any benefit in doing that.
Yes, great question. So, yes, one of the features that you can, or settings that you can put on your Facebook account and also for your Instagram account is to set it to a professional mode. And what that does is now it will, what that means is Facebook and Instagram, depending on which platform you're on, is going to track what you are doing and the kind of engagement you're getting. And it will show you those things on a dashboard when you go look at your account. So you can see how many people are liking your posts, how many people are commenting on your posts, how much time people are spending looking at your posts or watching your videos. So if you want that kind of data, switching to professional mode is something that I'll actually be talking more about in this presentation. So good on you, Fiona. Good for asking that. That's perfect, perfect timing. All right. I don't see. Oh, Neil. Yes, I see your hand. I was just going to say. All right. Go ahead and unmute Neil. Yep.
No, you're unmuted, but we don't hear you.
Yep. Do you have a microphone connected to your computer?
Something needs to be.
Or switch to the correct microphone in your sound settings, audio settings? Neil, while you figure that out, go ahead. Oh, it's not working. He's going to write it in the chat. Thank you, Neil.
Okay.
Okay,
So we
Graham.
have another question from Graham. Yeah.
Yep. I clicked. You should be able to unmute. Perfect.
Brilliant. Hi, thank you. This sounds great. Can I ask you this question?
Sure.
Does your favorite platform produce the most income?
Oh, good question. For me, my favorite platform is Facebook, but that's because that's where my ideal clients spend the most of their time. So Evelyn is spending most of her time on Facebook. And yeah, that is where I do get the most conversion from someone following me to then they start listening to my podcast and then they start, then they'll start conversations. They'll go download some of my resources that I post from time to time. And so that leads to buying customers from time to time. So, and especially team leaders who are bringing me in and doing things like this. So, yeah, absolutely. Great question. So yeah, for me, in my case, because I'm choosing to spend most of my time on Facebook, that is where I make the most money is from Facebook. So I have made a few $1,000s from TikTok, but that came because of my podcast, not because of TikTok, interestingly enough, but that's a whole other story I'll have to share with you at another time. So cool. All right. I'm going to pop back into sharing here so we can get back on track. So, right now, based on your ideal client avatar that we talked about, the person that you are going to be speaking to, and what we've talked about for social media platforms, open up the chat and tell me which platform do you think you're going to now be spending most of your time to speak to your ideal client avatar based on some of the basic statistics that I gave you about those platforms. So I'd love to see where you guys are planning to spend time. Let's see. LinkedIn, TikTok, awesome. LinkedIn, Facebook, LinkedIn, cool. All right. So we'll be talking about all of these, especially, and I will say this too, if you are looking to grow a team, LinkedIn has more business-minded people there. So you are more likely to get team members from LinkedIn than possibly other platforms because people are there who are often more professional and entrepreneurial minded. So just letting you know that too. So love that. And for anybody who's choosing two platforms, just know whatever content you create for one platform, you can double dip and post it on other platforms. So if you go look between my Facebook and my LinkedIn, you'll see a lot of my posts are very similar. I do very little changes between the two. All right, so let's continue going here. So now that we've picked a platform, we've picked our ideal client avatar, let's talk about creating engaging and consistent content. So the first thing that will really help you be more successful with this is to make sure that you are developing a content calendar. So planning out the type of content that you want to create. I did do a podcast episode with a gal named Tammy Hudgen, and I'm going to put her name in the chat here, Tammy Hudgen, in December of last year. So just a few weeks ago, and I think it was December, it might have been November, but it's just a few episodes back. And she's the Facebook queen. And she gave a very specific process for posting on Facebook to help drive and grow engagement. So I don't have time to teach that to you here. So I will say the Tammy Hudgen episode on my podcast would be a great one to listen to because she tells you exactly what to post and in what order. The reason I recommend creating a content calendar is so that way you're never sitting there going, oh, what am I going to talk about today? Right? If you spend time, it can either be once a month or once a week, just planning out what you're going to post about for the next few days. You can do that. So Gina, the name Tammy Hudgen isn't a link. It's just I put her name in there so that if you go to my podcast, you can find her. So I'll try and find that by the end of the training and I'll get the actual link for you guys. Okay. So I'll grab that for you. So the reason you want to have a content calendar is so you're never wondering what you're going to post about, because what's the likelihood you're going to post if you don't know what to say? Pretty close to zero, right? But if you spent some time saying, okay, by the end of this week, I would like to grow my following or I would like to grow my engagement, then you're going to do certain kinds of posts that will grow engagement. And so we can talk about some of that here. But you want to be strategic about it. So just make sure that you're pre-planning what you're going to say and what you're going to do moving forward. So you could be making sure that your posts are doing things like enhancing brand recognition. Now, this is a combination of your own brand and also LifeWave brand, because you are working with LifeWave. So you want to be having that out there. Now, should you be going out and just posting nothing but product, like pictures of the patch? No. But what you can do is do things where you set it up so that you've got a sleeve of patches maybe sitting in the background where people can see it, or you take a picture and you make sure that you have a patch strategically placed on your arm so that people can see that you're wearing the patch, or on your neck or on your back, right? Or George has it on his hand right there. See? So it's when you're on Zoom, you've got to put the patch somewhere where people can see it. Well, you're not necessarily going to stick it on your forehead, but George has his right here between his thumb and his fingers, right? So it's people on Zoom are going to be talking with their hands potentially. Now, I know us Americans, we tend to speak more with our hands. Lots of it here. I tend to do lots more with my hands when I'm on Zoom than even in person because I'm trying to keep people's attention, right? So, Court had a good idea, using ChatGPT to help you with some great social media content, right? So if you're not already playing with ChatGPT, you can use ChatGPT to help you create some content. Go have a conversation with artificial intelligence and see what it comes up with. And then also make sure that you are maximizing your content reach. So if you create something, you want to make sure that it's shareable. So it has to be set to public in order for someone else to share it. I will talk about ChatGPT in just a moment. Is it Clematis? Is that how I say that? Is it last name? I don't.
Clematis.
Clematis. Okay. So, we'll talk about ChatGPT in just a second here. If you want shareable content, meaning people read your content and share it, the most shared content tends to be things that are positive, inspiring, motivational, right? My most shared content are sometimes my stories are things that I talk about. I just did a post the other day about what's going on in the world of network marketing because another company went affiliate model. And so I created a post talking about how do you handle talking to your friends who are with those companies that either just closed or did that. And it got shared by a lot of network marketers because they were like, yes, do this, right? So creating content that other people are going to want to share with others. So positive, motivational, funny content often gets shared as well. Oh, what's that, George?
Cat. People
yes. Exactly. Exactly. Your content doesn't all have to be business because you People do business with people. I'm going to stop sharing. People do business with people. They are not doing business with LifeWave. They are doing business with you. So social media is a way for you to share with others who you are. And if cats are a part of your world, include cats as part of your posting. Some of my videos are about my cats. I found a really funny filter on TikTok one time that puts a little top hat and a monocle and a mustache on a cat face. And I went and found my cats and I took video of my cats with their little top hat and their monocle and their mustaches. And people loved it.
And so then they shared it, you would say, and then they would go, they're going to go, this lady, maybe next time she posts, I'm going to see what she says.
Yeah, exactly. When people engage in your content, when they comment and when they share, the social media platform algorithm says, oh, they like your content. Maybe I should show them more of your content.
So what you're really saying,
Mhm.
and I think it's probably important to say, to kind of highlight this, you said some key things. So what we're really trying to do here is start more conversations. That's number
Yes.
one. And number two, it's really important, and I've said this for years, but you've said it in a different way. You said have fun with it, or you have fun with it, and you use it for fun. And I've always said all the social media places, and especially when it's to do with what we're doing with a direct sales company or building a network, all those places are places to catch people's attention, start more conversations, and bring them to your base camp, as it were. Once you've brought them into your base camp, then you start to work with them person to person.
Yep.
And I think that's something that it's important to say, because otherwise, you know, the way I describe, I did a lot of flea markets for years, and the way I describe social media is like you go down to the flea market and you bump into somebody and you go, hey, how are you? Oh, look at that thing over there. I think, how much is it? Oh, bump into somebody else, you know, and then, oh, thanks, I'll have a drink. And you're all over the place. And, oh, where was I? Where was I? I was over there. Let me go back there. So it's really important to on the one hand, maybe not distract yourselves, but try not over distract other people so that they will come back to you and see you as you know, seriously. You know, I like to say about what I'm doing here with LifeWave, and I'm dead serious about what I'm doing, but I'm having a lot of fun while I'm doing it.
Yes, exactly. And George, one of our new friends from the marketers cruise, her name is Molly Mahoney. One of her mottos, and she actually had a t-shirt made with this motto on it, which is the more fun I have, the more money I make. And it's this wonderful little affirmation that she and all of her clients say all the time. The more fun I have, the more money I make, right?
Love it.
Because who wants to do business with a negative Nelly? And I hope there's no one online named Nelly. Right? We want to be around people who are fun. And so that's why I say I play on Facebook. I play on LinkedIn, even with it being a business platform. There's no reason why it can't be fun. Right? So the more fun I have, the more money I make. And so you play on social media. So I'm going to pop back into what we were talking about here. There we go. Which is the kind of content you're going to be creating. And so you want to be, again, creating some sort of community engagement so that will get people talking, right? So content that gets people talking. One of the things that I learned from Molly Mahoney about 5 years ago, the first time I went to one of her events, was she said, if you want to create engagement on, for example, Facebook, and this probably won't go over as well on LinkedIn, but we can find something else that might work. But if you're on Facebook and you were to go post 5 words, and it will be the most engaging post you've had on Facebook probably in a very long time. And the 5 words are Brussels sprouts, yes or no. And that's all you put. 5 words. Brussels sprouts, yes or no. Don't write a big long paragraph about Brussels sprouts and tell the story of how your mother used to make you eat them and you hated them and you would sit at the table and cry. No. 5 words. Brussels sprouts, yes or no. Post that and see how much engagement you get. And then what you do, and I do this about every quarter, once a quarter, I post Brussels sprouts, yes or no. And then what I do is with people who say no, I do some sort of reaction face, especially like the little shocked face, you know, if you can react with different types of reactions. And then I will ask him a question. So if you don't eat Brussels sprouts, what's your favorite green vegetable? Right? How are you getting your greens? If you're not eating Brussels sprouts, what are you eating instead? Right? And then the people who say yes to Brussels sprouts, I ask them, what's your favorite recipe? Right? How do you make them? Right? And so what are we doing? Well, that's exactly what George talked about a little bit ago, which is we're trying to create conversations. Right? So when you create conversations, you started the conversation by asking the question, Brussels sprouts, yes or no. People are going to engage with that. Why? They feel very strongly about that thing, right? People either love Brussels sprouts or they hate them. There are very few people in between who are like, Brussels sprouts are okay. I find people either love them or hate them, but it's not politics. So it's not going to divide somebody. If somebody says, no, I don't eat Brussels sprouts, the people who say yes don't get mad. Right? They don't care that much about Brussels sprouts, right? So when you can find things like that, so I don't just stick with Brussels sprouts. I do things like sushi, yes or no, because again, sushi is something that people feel very strongly about. Coffee, yes or no. People feel very strongly about coffee. They love it or they hate it. There's nobody who's like, meh, coffee's okay. At least in my world. I don't know about anybody else, right? Or what's your favorite tea? Get people to share their favorite tea. Black tea, green tea. Oh, I like apple cinnamon tea. I like chamomile, like whatever. Earl Grey, right? Lots of options for engagement. You also want to use we talked about the professional mode. So using the professional mode, set your account once you feel comfortable to professional mode so you can get some of those statistics and data. And then you can also do live streams, videos to make sure that you are live interacting with people from time to time. Make sure you are posting frequently.
How frequently?
How frequently? Okay. So with Facebook, once a day is like perfect. 1 post a day. So if you spent 20 minutes on Sunday, you could easily create 7 posts for Facebook and post once a day. Have it all done. Take the pictures that you want to take, or at least say, hey, on Wednesday, I'm going to take a picture of, because I know I'm going to a cool park on Wednesday. So I'll make sure I take a picture while I'm at this park, or I'll take a video while I'm at this park. Right. So plan out that content once a day. LinkedIn, they say 3 to 5 times a week. TikTok, because it is so fast moving, they say for on the business side, you want to be creating 1 to 2 videos a day for to maximize your following. Now, if you're just creating content to create content, once a day is fine on TikTok. Make sure you diversify your content. So have a variety of content. Like I said, it should not all be pictures of patches. It's got to be you. The posts that you're putting up should reflect who you are. So I follow a 5-pillar posting strategy. So I've created 5 pillars that represent who I am. So one of my pillars is purple. I know you are probably shocked based on just my hair color and my background and my Zoom and my PowerPoint theme color. I'm sure you're shocked that purple is one of my pillars. Right? And I say that slightly sarcastically, a little tongue in cheek there, because I love purple. So I share things that are purple. It's part of who I am. But it's just one part. My second pillar is what I call alphabet soup. And that's because I have ADHD. So there's some letters. I'm part of the LGBTQ community and I'm an ally for that community. So there's that, right? So anything regarding that, I post around that. So my ADHD content I put out there quite often. One of my other pillars is, of course, podcast. Podcast is part of who I am. I love doing it. It's part of my business. It's part of myself, right? And then, of course, my family. Now, like I said, that's not public, but I do talk about my kids from time to time. Now, we've had a lot of questions here, so I'm going to
don't forget Neil's question about
Yep.
he has a business and a personal account. But
yes.
what you're saying is, let's say you're a sports person and your thing is sailing, and you also live up in the mountains. So one of your pillars might be everything to do with the sea, and another one might be to do with everything to do with the mountains and your business.
Yeah, with hiking and making analogies between sailing and your business and hiking in your business. Absolutely. So yes, thank you for the reminder on Neil's question. He has a business and a personal on Facebook. So here's the thing. The business pages are good for you to post on maybe once a week because it lets people know that you're still in business. But Facebook is a pay-to-play space for businesses. And remember, people do business with people. So you are more likely to get business from your personal account than from your business account. Because people do business with people. So post more on your personal account and then once a week, couple times, 3 times a month, maybe post on your business one. So I'm scrolling through. This is good. Okay, good. Fantastic. Oh, somebody wants one of their pillars to be Marmite. I love it.
Do you have Marmite over there?
We do not. I've heard of it, but I've not actually had. I've not had Marmite, and I've or Vegemite either. So
next time I see you, I'll try and bring some Marmite.
Fantastic.
Either you love it or you hate it. But me,
there you go.
When I want it, I want it. But when I don't want it, I really don't want it.
Love it. Okay. And we're here, of course, we have some more information about interactive. So with a lot of the different platforms, you can do polls and things of that nature to create more engagement as well. Also, something that I don't think is done near enough are making sure you're recognizing and acknowledging people who are regularly commenting on your things and engaging with your content. So there's that. Beryl asks, is it worth paying for ads on Facebook? When you guys are just getting started, no. When you are to the point where you personally have no more time to go network and do all of that, do not do ads. It is better to use your Facebook to network and communicate with people as people. When you get large enough to where you need to reach a much larger network, then you can pay for ads. But I would say as a network marketer, you are very limited on what you're allowed to post on Facebook or what you're allowed to advertise. And I always recommend that network marketers check with their company, because some companies do not allow you to do ads.
No.
So
And that brings us into the question that I'm going to ask you, because you asked me to send you the LifeWave
oh
compliance stuff.
yes.
So if you could address that briefly.
Yes, absolutely.
Then I have one more thing I was going to ask.
Of course. So it is also very important, because you guys are with LifeWave. They have a document out there that says what you can and cannot say. Right? So I highly recommend that you connect with your leader and get that document. Okay. So because what you want to do is you want to make sure that you are not doing anything that's going to get you in trouble with the company, or for those of you who are here in the US, get you in trouble with the Federal Trade Commission or the FDA. So please, please, please read that document and use it. Keep it close by when you're doing your content planning, so that way you know what you can and can't say, the right words and the no-nos. So those
and that applies to LifeWave products. It doesn't apply to if you're going sailing.
correct.
So be clear. Be clear on that.
Yes.
I was asked by LifeWave to withdraw something like 30 posts on Instagram and 3 of them on Facebook. So even though I didn't feel I was claiming anything, we need to protect LifeWave, because now that LifeWave is growing so quickly, LifeWave is in the eyes of other networks who maybe feel threatened, and certainly in the eyes of some of the pharmaceutical companies, but that's another story altogether.
Absolutely. All right. And then somebody reminded me, thank you, about ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is an artificial intelligence that you can have a digital conversation with. So if you just go to chatgpt.com, you can ask it a question and it will answer it. Now, here's what I will tell you. It is pulling the answer from the entire internet. So ChatGPT is not always accurate. So always double and triple check what answers and what information you are getting from any artificial intelligence, whether it's ChatGPT or Claude or the variety. I mean, literally, I was part of an AI training a couple weeks ago, and we spent 20 minutes just listing all the different types of AI that are already out there. So there are a lot of different AIs out there. So just be aware that when you use something like ChatGPT or any of the others, that you double check the information that comes from that. So, and then somebody was asking, if you have 2 businesses, what is the best way to cover both businesses in one account? So yes, if you're working multiple businesses, the thing you have to worry about is confusing the clientele, and a confused brain doesn't buy.
Always says no.
Yep. So what I would recommend is pick one or the other, and then once you have an established relationship with somebody, if they talk about something that could be, so let's say you choose to go the LifeWave direction, and that's going to be the one that you will promote and talk about on social media, then if somebody says something and you're like, oh man, frankincense oil would really help with that, then you can privately message the person and have that conversation with them. But yes, a confused brain does not buy. A confused brain always says no. So Beryl, yes, some companies do not allow to be with multiple companies, and certainly not to, promote that you are. So I always say double check with all the companies that you're potentially wanting to represent and make a decision from there. All right, I have just a couple more slides, and then we will wrap up here. So I know we went a little long here. So you want to make sure that you, especially this is especially true on Instagram and TikTok for trends and hashtags. So hashtags are big on Instagram, and you use anywhere from, they recommend, if you're going to use hashtags, use 5 to 8 hashtags. And the purpose of a hashtag is for other people to find your content. So if they click on hashtag LifeWave, they're going to go see all the people who've ever posted about hashtag LifeWave. So you want to have a hashtag or two that really speak to who you are, so they're more likely to find your content. So you don't necessarily want the most viral hashtags. You want to have the hashtags that are somewhat popular-ish so that you can still be found. So that's more on Instagram. Beryl, the more numbers on the hashtag, the better. Like I said, 5 to 8 hashtags are good. Any more than that, then people don't even read them or look at them. Any fewer than 5, then people just, it's not enough information. They don't really click on it. So it doesn't do that. Hashtags are when you do something like this. So we had a couple people mention in the chat, they don't know what this is. So when you're posting on social media, you might do hashtag LifeWave, hashtag healthy, hashtag lower pain, hashtag freedom. I don't know. I'm just throwing things there. So there we go. That's what that is. So you would create a post, but then you use the hashtags. So if you go find me on Instagram, because yes, I'm also on Instagram, you can see that. Beyonda, I would double check the LifeWave guidelines, because I don't think you're allowed to say anything about stem cells, if I remember correctly.
No,
Yep.
not at the moment.
Yep. Right now, you can't say anything about stem cells, so I would hold back from hashtag. I would not, at this point in time, use hashtag stem cell. So if they change that, depending on when somebody's watching this recording, because this is also being recorded, that could change in the future. But for right now, they are, I did read the guidelines, and it does specifically advise against using stem cells as part of that. So I would not do that. And then trends, you can see just by, you can literally just go to Google and say, what is trending on Facebook right now? What is trending on Instagram right now? And it will tell you what those trends are. And then when you participate in that trend, people are more likely also to find you. So, all right. Now here's the fun thing. Remember earlier, I told you guys on Facebook, and this is also true on LinkedIn and Instagram, videos are the most viewed content on social media. So we're going to do a video posting party. So for those of you who would like to participate, there's no charge to participate with this, but what you want to do is join my Facebook group, which is the video posting party. It's called Grow Your Following in 60 Days. And we are going to get together through Facebook and hold each other accountable for posting a 60-second video per day, or it can be shorter. I posted a 10-second video 2 days ago, reminding people to drink their water. Right? So the reason I'm saying 60 seconds is because Facebook has a limit on the length of a reel. A reel can only be 60 seconds long, although they might up that number fairly soon because Instagram just went up to 3 minutes. So, but what I'm saying is 60-second video over 60 days. So every day, post a single video, and you can pick the platform of your choice. And what we're going to do is we're going to go interact with each other's videos. I'll teach you guys through the group how to create a video, teach you guys how to post a video, and how to go comment on each other's videos. So that way you're getting more engagement, so more people see your stuff. What do you think?
I love it. But can you put the QR code again or the name of the group? Again?
Yep, absolutely. The name of the group is Grow Your Following in 60 Days. If you are viewing this on your computer, you can use your phone to just scan that QR code and it'll take you to the group right directly in Facebook. Otherwise, you need to go to facebook.com/groups.
I don't know why I'm not getting the screw your
The link that's on there, you can't click on it because it's a PowerPoint and you're watching
but
it.
I'm not seeing your PowerPoint. That's what I'm saying.
Is everybody else seeing the PowerPoint still? Okay, I'm seeing heads nodding. So
Okay.
people are still seeing it. It's there.
Okay, cool.
And then I'm putting the link in the chat right now. 60-day video posting party. And so there we go. So you can click on that link and then I will go through and approve everybody who comes in through that. And so if you're watching this on the replay, just go to facebook.com/groups. Make sure there's an S on that /60, and that's 60-day video posting party. And it's all smashed together as one big long thing. And I did put it in the chat. So if you click on it, it'll take you right there. And then I will also include these links for George to put out in any WhatsApp groups or Facebook groups where you guys are there. Because I want to make sure that you guys, if you're interested. Now, does this mean that you have to post 60 videos in 60 days? No. But what do you think would happen to your following and your engagement if you posted 30 videos? But we may have some prizes for people who do participate.
So I want to say something.
Sure.
The one in our conversation the other day with Chris, and Lucinda and Jenny, Jenny said one of her things is she wants to help 1 million people be successful, just as David Schmidt wants to get these patches into 1 billion homes. So this is her drive, and this is where her drive aligns with our drive and with my drive. And Jenny, you also said you have a website, and why don't you tell the people your website? Because one of the things in the conversation which we had before we did this call, when we were on the cruise, I said to Jenny, look, I don't sell things to my people in my organization, because I made a mistake once with a call, and it didn't. I mean, a lot of people wanted to continue, but it was just, anyway. Long story short, Jenny said, "Look, on my website, there's a lot of free, useful content, and then there are things that people may purchase if they choose to at some point, and she's going to give me a link." So that there is a 50% off. But she was very clear that none of that's, what's the word? You don't need to do that.
Yeah, it's no purchase is required. I like George said, I do have a lot of complimentary content on my website. So I have guides to help people find rockstar team members. I have guided meditations that help you improve your confidence in sales. All of those things are free. So I have a lot of free content on there. But while you're clicking around on my website, if you see something that you like and you want, and it does have a price tag attached to it, what I told George is I'm going to set up a a coupon code that will work for any of the courses that I have in my university. So I do have an online university called the Badass Direct Sales Mastery University, where there are social media courses that will teach you more about social media and will dig in more about how to use social media to build a business. So, and that coupon code will give you 50% off any of the courses, any of them, regardless of the price, 50% off. So you can get them at a really great deal. So the coupon code is LifeWave X39, all smashed together. LifeWave X39, and that's the website. So you guys can use that. The coupon code is only necessary if you choose to purchase one of the courses. I don't do discounting on any of my coaching programs, but if you want to have a conversation, I can make it worth your while if you're interested in having that conversation. But if you just want the free content, all the free podcasts, I have a couple of free courses in my university. I have all kinds of complimentary resources. If you want more of them, just let me know, and I'm happy to send everything free to you, because I'm building a vault right now of all my free stuff. I do see Sammy. Sammy, you have your hand up with a question.
Thanks, Jenny. I really appreciate all of this. The one question that I have is, how relevant is this still in this community? We get told that you need a website to make yourself and your business legitimate. So people always ask, what's your website link? With social media, can that still be, in this day and age, make you look relevant and true and honest? And then how does search engine optimization work then with social media?
Yes, great question. So here's the thing, because you guys are with network marketing, depending on where you are in your network marketing journey, you don't have to have a separate website outside of your LifeWave website. You have your own replicated website where people can go and purchase. So that is your website, right? That where people can purchase your products and sign up to be on your team. So you have that set up already. Now, I don't know how much freedom LifeWave gives you to make any changes on your website. Probably not much, except for your name and your contact information. And that's probably about it. That's what most companies offer.
Yeah, correct.
Yep. So if you want, now I don't recommend getting a website until you've got a fairly large team where you want to have your own content for team training and for, all of that, where you may be creating your own videos and all of that.
Let me add
But you
to
don't need a website. You don't need a website until much later in your network marketing journey. And then to answer the last part of Sammy's question, your social media is searchable by Google. So the more content you put out there. So right now, if you go search Jennie Bellinger on Google, if you go to Google and type in my name, Jennie Bellinger, I'm going to type it in the chat. So that way, if you guys want to check me out on this, if you go to Google and type my name in, put that in, you're going to see a bunch of my Facebook posts. You're going to see my LinkedIn. You're going to see my Instagram. You're going to see my website. You're going to see my podcast, because I have created so much content on social media and on my website. It's very searchable. In fact, I had a client who found me because she went to Google and she typed in ADHD and direct sales. And Google went, oh my gosh, this gal on Facebook talks about ADHD and direct sales all the time. She found me through Google, went to my Facebook, looked at some of my posts that were about ADHD and direct sales success. And then she reached out to me. I sent her one of my free pieces of content. And 3 weeks later, she was one of my coaching clients because she searched ADHD and direct sales. And she found me through social media. So by having content that reflects who you are and things that you're passionate about, when people search for those things, if you do enough of that content creation, people will find you from Google. Now, I will tell you, I started coaching full time in 2017. I didn't meet that gal until 2022. So it took 5 years.
Super sage advice, Jenny. I'm going to add a little bit because somebody said about when to have a website. I probably and hashtags. So always try and find a phrase that you can make yours. So I have a few phrases that I made mine. One of them is from a mountain on an island in the sea. Another one and is work your wave. I use that on all of my social media. Years ago, I had something called work your web. So suddenly I woke up and I want the wave, but I can't use life wave. So even though, thank you, Lord, I have a large and growing organization, I still don't have a website called workyourwave.com, even though I own the URL. And one day I probably will. And it takes a while to be clear on what you actually want to do in every part of your sort of online presence. So that website, if I actually do it, will be to share training, will be to help people develop patina and context and perspective. From my perspective, we have a lot of great teachers in our network. Some of you know the upline, some of you don't, but then again, we all have different perspectives which we can share and offer, and we don't all resonate with everybody. So, but is really not to get distracted. Use what Jenny's been teaching, and use that to do what she said way early in the call. Start more conversations. People who know me hear me say, I'm always looking for the echo. I'm in a big hurry, but I'm never in a hurry. And I'm not looking for the sale. I'm not looking to close. I'm looking for the echo to see where we can start a conversation. And that's why I wanted to have this call with Jenny. All about that.
So much. And something that George just said reminded me that I something that I meant to put in this PowerPoint that I did not, which is the more you grow your following, the bigger you get, the more you put out there, you will have what we call in social media world, you will have trolls. You will have people who will come say negative things on your posts. It will happen. But here's what I'm going to tell you, because I get a lot of trolls, because there's a lot of people out there who are anti-MLM. They think they think what we're doing is awful. They think it's horrible. But you know what I do? I let them post and I have conversations with them. Why? Because every time they say something nasty, Facebook doesn't care. Facebook goes, oh, somebody posted on Jenny's post. Somebody commented. And I just keep the conversation going, because why? There's lots of engagement happening. Facebook doesn't know. The algorithm doesn't know that we're fighting. And I'm not really fighting. I'm just asking them questions. I'm curious. Why do you feel that way about MLM? I'm really curious. How does this impact you personally if somebody else chooses to do this business? Tell me more.
You're being
right?
playful.
I'm being playful, right? They can say all the negative, awful things they want to, and all it does is boost my algorithm. And then here's what's really fantastic. My friends and my family come to my rescue. And they start commenting and go, do you even know Jenny? Do you know how wonderful and sweet and loving she is? How can you say that about her? You don't know her. Like, now there's more engagement. So I'm telling you, you should celebrate and do a happy dance the first time someone posts a negative thing on one of your posts, because it's going to happen.
Love me or hate me, there's no money in the middle.
Absolutely. I tell people if you're not creating controversy, you're not doing enough. So get out there. I always like to let people know, like, be aware. There's going to be someone who doesn't, in case you've made it this long in life and somehow magically made it without anybody ever being negative to you. That is wonderful. I'm so happy. But I'm telling you, unfortunately, it does not exist that way on the internet. There are people who have no fear being behind a keyboard. So celebrate, do a happy dance when somebody puts a negative post or a negative comment on your stuff, because yay, I got big enough that a complete stranger wants to yell at my content. It's a happy dance. Well, guys, I look forward to seeing you in the 60 days video posting party. Again, you don't have to post all 60 days if you don't want to, but I'm going to give you a little hope. Just a few days.
So please send me those links so I can put on our group.
Absolutely. I'm going to give you a little hope, and then I'm going to wrap this up and we can say goodbye. The other day, I took 20 minutes and I made 20 videos that were 1 minute or less. And now all I have to do is go post them once a day. So I'm already a third of the way to 60 days, because part of the reason I wanted to do this with you guys is because I set a goal to do more videos in 2025. And then when George and I sat down and said, how can we help people share their story? I was like, well, video is a great way to share a story. Video is a great way to share a story. So I hope you'll come join us in the 60-day video posting party. I would love to see you there. We'll have some more fun. We'll help each other grow engagement, grow our following. So, mwah.
Thank you. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you for coming and joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. I did put a link in there that has my contact information as well. So it's badassdirect-sales-mastery.com/card. It will give you my contact information. If you are in a country where that link does not work for some reason, just go to badassdirect-sales-mastery.com and you can find me there. I promise. So thank you guys so much. Everyone have a wonderful evening. For those of you who are on the other side of the world, get some good sleep, sweet dreams, dreaming about your social media stuff. And for those of you who are here in the US, have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you.
George. Bye, Jenny.
Bye.
Thanks for
Bye-bye.
everything.
Bye.
Thanks,
Thank
Jenny.
you.
Great talk.
Thank you, George.
Thank you.
Very helpful.
That was awesome. Thank you, Jenny and George.
Thank
You
you,
are
Francois.
welcome. You're
you.
welcome, Francoise.
Loved it. Thank you.
Absolutely. I'm so glad that you guys loved it. That is so awesome. Bye, everybody.
Good night. Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Sleep tight. Sweet dreams and all that.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to give it a moment. We're down to 25 still on the call. And we hit 94, and we after an hour we still had over 80 people on the call. So I think people were very happy.
I love that. That's so good. Well, I'm glad, because I worked hard on that presentation. So, because normally I just talk about the social media stuff with my coaching clients, and I haven't really done like a social media training per se in this way. So it was fun to get to put it together and see, you know, what people had, that where people's questions were. So it was nice to be able to see that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
Absolutely.
so much. Thank you. This was incredibly informative. Thanks, George.
Oh,
Thanks, Jenny.
Thank
you're
you, Claire.
welcome. Thank you,
Yes.
Theo.
Yeah, I'll definitely, follow you. Thank you.
I love it.
Please do. Thank you, guys. Oh, and George, I will also send you the link to the episode that I talked about.
Oh, thank you.
So I'll find that on my website, so that way people can decide whether they want to listen from the website or they can listen from Apple Podcast or YouTube or wherever, because it's literally if you just type in Jennie Bellinger and Tammy Hudgen, you can find it. So it's all over. So very cool. Bye, everybody. I've got to go prep for my next thing. So everybody have
Me
a
too.
wonderful evening, wonderful afternoon, and I'll see you in the Facebook group, guys.
Hasta luego.
Bye. Adios.
Bye bye.